Hi, welcome to A's Made Easy, and today we're going to be discussing scope and methods in AP Computer Science A. So, what is scope? The scope is the part of the program where a variable exists and can be accessed from its declaration to the end of the curly brackets. The types of scope are a local variable declared in a method that exists only in that method, a parameter declared in a method that exists only in that method, and a variable declared in a for loop that exists only in that loop. These are the most important ones for AP Computer Science A. So why do we need scope? Scope helps the compiler know which data the code wants to use. It also helps with storage, as once methods with local variables terminate, the storage used for that variable is made free again to be used instead of taking space with no purpose. So here's an example of scope. In this, we can see that a variable x is declared in the method that has a scope that goes till the end of the curly brackets of the method. And we can also see the variable I that is declared in the for loop, which scope extends only till the end of the for loop. This means that the variable I cannot be used in a method as it fails to exist after the curly brackets in the for loop, which is the same for the x variable in the method. So some rules for scope are that variables not within the same scope can have the same names. So in the given example, we can see that the variable I is declared 3 times in 3 different scopes. And this is all right because that means that the scopes don't overlap. So when the computer runs the code, it will know which I each call is referring to. If these were in the same scope, then it would cause an error. And a variable cannot be declared twice within its scope or be used outside of its scope. So over here we see the variable I declared in the for loop, and then we see it again inside the for loop and not in the signature. This will cause an error because when there are 2 variables with the same name, then the compiler won't know which one you're talking about when you try to use it. And trying to use I as they have tried outside of the for loop will also cause an error since the scope of the variable ends with the curly bracket at the end, meaning that the compiler won't be able to find the data that they're looking for. So what are methods? A block of code that only runs when it is called. Methods allow you to reuse code without retyping it. So if you have some code that you want to run multiple places in your program, you can just write a method and then call the method whenever you want to use it. Another thing that methods help with is debugging. So if you see something wrong with your code, instead of having to change it in every place where you've retyped the code, you can just change how you've written the method and it changes it for everywhere in your code where you've called the method. So the syntax for a method goes the signature, then curly bracket, and then the body of the method, and then a closing curly bracket. Let's discuss those in a bit more detail. So here's an example of a method. So we have the main method. The signature is the starting line that includes public static void main and then the parameters, and it does not have a semicolon at the end. And then we see the curly brackets inside which we have the body of the method that runs when it is called. So the signature. A method signature includes the name of the method, the return type, and the parameters of the method. For now, all the methods we write will start with public static. So here are some examples of method signatures. A closer look. So the way that you write a signature is, well, you first write the start of the signature, which is public static, and then you write the return type, which could be int, void, or any data type that you want the method to return. Then you write the name of the method, and then in parentheses, you write any parameters that you want to use whenever you call the method and inside the method. And then inside the curly brackets is where you write the body. A note is that methods can have more than one parameters. So return types. A return type is the data type of the value that is returned by your method. So in these method signatures, you can see the return types of int, boolean, and void. So when there is a data type that is being returned by your method, you need to have a return statement in your method that returns a value of that data type, or else it will cause an error. If you write void, that means you do not have to return a data type. So here are some labs to practice your usage of methods and scope. Pause now before sample answers are revealed. Okay, so here is the answer to lab 1. And here is the answer to lab 2. So if this was helpful, consider liking and subscribing. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching.